Finally, right? Come on to my kitchen. Hey, you tired of turkey and all the fixings yet? It's Sunday. I'm not tired of it because I had the perfect situation. I told you in the last episode, which was a special post-Thanksgiving Day show, that I got invited to a beautiful home, fantastic meal, great people. I mean, I only knew my inviter and my inviter's birthing unit was there. The other 5 people I met at the dinner, and it was a fantastic evening. No politics, fantastic meal, great conversation. You know you're having a good Thanksgiving when the conversation is bouncing around from, Stanley Kubrick movies to Justin Wilson, and eventually landing, as most things in the universe usually do, on Ralph Kramden. So I had a fantastic night, and then I was sent home with some beautiful leftovers, which were used in the PT Day show to make the turkey hash with the poached eggs. So I had a turkey sandwich with stuffing. I forgot my gravy. I was really bummed, but everything worked out fine. So point of all this rambling is I had a fantastic meal in great company, and then just the perfect amount of leftovers over the next day or so, to where I was totally satisfied. Never got to that point where it's like, oh, I still got to eat this stuff, because I hate wasting food. So if it's there, I'm going to use it, right? So never got tired of it. But that being said, a lot of bread, the stuffing, it's Thanksgiving. So now I want to take a little bit of a 90-degree turn over the next day or so, and really just kind of recharge the metabolic system and the digestive machines and whatnot. So let's head over to the board and see what we got lined up. Let's make some ceviche. Alright, like I said, a little 90-degree turn from all the fantastic Thanksgiving eating I've been doing over the past few days. Now you can make ceviche with a variety of things. I'm going to go with these nice little bay scallops and this lovely wild Icelandic cod. Alright, they had the Alaskan cod, but this one was in from Iceland. It looked nicer. I liked the sheen on it, so I went with that. Nice firm white fish. And so what are we going to do? We're going to cook this. We don't even have to leave the board, because we're not technically cooking. Well, we're cooking with acid. So I've got a couple of limes, a lemon, and an orange. We use the acid in that citric acid, to cook that fish. We'll semi-cure it. It's kind of a cooking. There's heat in the acid. Red onion, plum tomato, avocado, nice and ripe, and actually this is a good chance for me to use up my last few ripe black cherries from the summer. Cilantro. I like to add a little parsley and a little mint. It's a nice herb combo, but heavy on the cilantro. Just going to put a touch of honey, about a teaspoon. And now here's the thing, a clove of garlic. I could have sworn I picked up 2 jalapenos, and they're nowhere to be found after the shopping has been unbagged, etc. But thankfully, I had the jar of pickled jalapenos in the fridge. This might actually be better. And what I did is I soaked that in cold water for about 15 minutes just to get a little briny stuff out of it. And of course, I love those habaneros. They can be dangerous. For this, I'm barely going to use any of that. I might put a sliver to get that habanero flavor out of it. But my experience with something like this is going to be a marination, right? Once we get all that juice, we're mixing all this together, and that's going to cook that fish by marinating. And in something like that, the habanero becomes an infusion. Those juices will just get too hot. We have the jalapeno. I may not use any of that. I may buckle down and use a sliver. Ceviche. So I want to talk about one of the most important kitchen tools. I'll get everything prepped. We'll have our mise en place. off camera, and then we'll come back and see everything that's ready and put it together. But I want to discuss a very important thing in your kitchen for the prep session is your prepping beverage. Okay, extremely important. In this case, happens to be gin and tonic with lime. Could be a glass of wine. Could be a glass of water. But very important to have a little companion. Relax, do your chopping, put some tunes on. That's the real reason why I don't do my chopping on the show. I like to blast the tunes, and YouTube wouldn't allow that. You know, copyright issues. So let me prep up. I'll hold on the fish though, and I'll show you how I want to do that. Very important. What we'll do is we'll get our fish going, and then that marinates while we prep the other veggies. So let's see what we have here. So I got my beautiful bay scallops. Now I've had everything in this bowl with some ice cubes, fresh water, and a little bit of salt. And I threw in 1 lime wedge. Now the scallops we're just going to cut in half. Toss them in the bowl, cut in half, toss them in the bowl. Nice little bite-sized pieces. The cod I'll take out. Give ourselves a piece to work with here. I'm going to pat it dry. Right? Get some of that water off. And I'm going to give myself cubes. About the same size as those scallops. So look. Little 1/2 inch cube, right? So we'll go like this. About 1/2 inch. And then go down this way. It's okay if some are a little, some are 1/4 inch, some are 1/2 inch. I like that variation, but keep them roughly the same size so that they cook is in parentheses, evenly. All right? I'll finish up the rest of this fish, and then we'll add our cooking liquid. Got all the fish done. Bay scallop, that Icelandic wild cod. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a teaspoon of this honey here from those Hudson Valley bees, and I'm going to add it to my citrus. I wound up using 3 limes, 1 lemon, and 1 orange. Okay, nice combo. Whisk in that honey, try and get it dissolved. House is a little chilly right now. I had to float that in some warm water to loosen it up. But looks like it's melting in, dissolving in pretty good. That's our cooking fuel right there. Let's just put it in our fish. Get all that honey in there. Sweeten things up. And that's basically our oven. I'm going to cover this. Pop it in the fridge. And let that go for about 20 minutes, half an hour. That's going to cure up that fish. And then we'll add all our other flavoring goodies. All right, into the fridge. And now I can go prep the rest of the veg. And we'll see you back here at the board. All right, here's our mise en place. Got our fish here. It was in the fridge for 20 minutes. I started halfway through. You can see the scallops and the fish starting to get opaque. They're starting to cook. They still have more time to go. But now we're going to add, that was 20 minutes with the fish, lemon juice, lime juice, a little bit of orange juice, and a touch of honey. So let's add our red onion. Clove of garlic. And our tomato, plum tomato, little black cherry, a pickled jalapeno, because apparently I didn't come home with the ones I thought I purchased. The the regular raw jalapeno. And look how much habanero I'm using. A touch. As I told you, you work with those enough, you learn what to do with them. More importantly, hopefully you learn what not to do with them. Like after chopping them, don't touch your eyeball or any part of your face. Scratch your nose, you'll be hurting. All right, we got our veggies in. Let's go with a little bit of salt. Crack a little pepper in there. Mix that up good. And that's going to go back in for another 10-15. Let me cheat though. This fish is semi-cooked. Quality control. Oh, we haven't even added the herbs yet. Mint, cilantro, and parsley, or the ripe avocado. That'll happen on serving. So let's get this back in. Another 10-15 minutes in the fridge. That fish should be nice and cooked. And by the way, I'll stir it halfway through because you want to keep sort of submerging them. You can see some of those fish are sort of poking out the top of the liquid. So I'll give it a stir in about 5 minutes. Back to the fridge. Okay, our ceviche is done, well cured. Actually left it in a little longer. And stirred it a few times. I did a little quality control tasting. Needs a bit of salt. Don't mind this nastiness. I cooked some beef and ground beef and turkey for the beeps, and what I do is I put cold water and then I drain it to get the fat out, and that's the fat rising to the top. So we'll drain this and put our liquid right in there. We're going to get rid of the liquid. Drain it off. Okay? Okay, so we drained off the liquid. Pop it back in our bowl. Now we're going to add our herbs. Remember, cilantro, a little bit of parsley, a little bit of mint, and when you guys weren't looking, I improv'd a little. I snuck in a few fresh basil leaves because they're growing right there on the kitchen windowsill, so why not? Now, let me taste it for seasoning. Oh my God. After Thanksgiving dinner for 3 days, 2.5 days, this is the perfect reset. Now, use a little salt. Earlier I went light, but I used the kosher salt. But since that cod is from Iceland, nice wild fish, we almost have to use a little bit of the Icelandic black lava salt, right? Marry it together with that fish. Now, last but not least is the avocado, which is beautifully ripe. You would put this whole avocado in there, diced up like this, if it were like a party or something. But since I'm just having it tonight, I'm going to take half, put this half away in the fridge for tomorrow. And kind of like, well, not for the same exact reason, but thematically, if you remember when we made our pesto, I said we don't freeze it with the Parmigiano Reggiano. And so this I'll put away. That's going to get refrigerated. And then tomorrow when I eat that, I'll put the avocado in. I'll slice that one up. So this one's diced half to half of our ceviche, because you don't want that avocado sitting overnight in all this with all this acid and lime. It'll just get funky. I mean, it'll stay green, but I want that fresh, bright avocado flavor. So I'll put fresh in tomorrow. Okay, I think we're ready to serve. And as I mentioned, it's just me here tonight. If this were a party situation, or you were dinner party, whatever, you put this in a nice serving platter. You know, you can put a few cilantro leaves around, maybe a bowl of chips out. But this is just me winding down from the holiday. So I'm going to start with one of these tostadas. You've seen these before more than once. Did a whole episode with them. Take some of my ceviche, right on that corn tostada. Put that fresh avocado in there. And if you were garnishing, a little lime wedge, you know, the cilantro. I'm not bothering with that right now. I just want to eat. Ceviche. Scallops, the Icelandic cod, plum tomato, a little pickled jalapeno, habanero, red onion, garlic, cilantro, mint, parsley, a little bit of basil, salt, pepper. So bright, so fresh, protein, a little bit of corn, but after the, I'm not complaining, but after all the Thanksgiving fare for the past, you know, like I said, 36, 48 hours, this hits the spot. This is so good. This being the holiday weekend still, nice long weekend, still have tomorrow. I was trying to decide what to pair with this. Now, being sort of a Central American dish, really, ideally, in my opinion, I'm no sommelier or anything, but in my opinion, a nice cold cerveza, because really this is al fresco food. This is something you would want to serve your guests out on the patio on a hot summer day, right? It's the end of November, I'm eating ceviche, but I had a craving, to be honest with you. So I was thinking, but I'm not doing beer. It's off the table for me right now. I've had enough beer to last me the rest of my life. I was thinking Sauvignon Blanc, you know, Pinot Grigio, and then I thought, wait a minute, it's a little cross-cultural, not obvious, but I thought, ooh, I'll get a nice bottle of sake, right? So I went in to get the sake, and what was sitting next to it? A little Japanese plum wine, all right? And gears started turning. I started thinking the acid, the lime juice, the spices, a little sweetness of the plum wine. I don't know about your palate, but it's working for me with the ceviche on the corn tostada. So thanks for coming to my kitchen. We'll see you for the next episode. You know, it's always great meeting new people, chatting, having a great meal.